Call to order.
Not everyone's
We'll start with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Nikki, could you do roll call, please?
Happy to. Mr. Walker.
Here.
Darcy here. Nikki Miller's here. Danielle is on vacation. Paige here. Brandon
Here.
Eric
Here.
and Wally is at conference.
Yes, Wally is out tonight.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, agenda adjustments approval. Letter A, we're adding these to the consent agenda, items 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes to add these to the consent agenda. All right, any announcements? I don't see any. Okay, moving on. We have some community input. Jeremy. Come on down, buddy.
How y'all doing?
Good.
Gonna give myself carpal tunnel if I hold on to that. I'm here mainly just to talk about bringing charitable gambling into the school district. Originally, we didn't know exactly how the board would feel about it. We've got a better sense of that now, so I'm going to try to keep this as short and sweet as possible. Mainly what we need with our organization is site permits and the expressed approval of this board and the school district so that we can move forward with licensing our organization and putting a gambling manager in place. I just have a couple things just so I don't have to explain everything and you guys can look through it.
Thank you.
I hope I have enough for everybody. I wasn't sure how many people would be here. This is I'm not going to bother with a big spiel. I'm just going to go with the facts. Like I said, the main reason we're here is just because we need that permission.
Who would the gambling manager be? Would that be you?
That would be Heidi Johnson. She's in the back there.
Okay.
I'm the treasurer of the booster organization. As treasurer, I can't be a gambling manager. It's conflict of interest. Neither can any school official cannot be a gambling manager. This can only be done through a PTA or a booster organization that is a nonprofit for over 3 years, and we've been around for over 30. The first page you got there, for those that have one, just explaining the activities that we cover that are directly within our organization. There are a couple that are not directly in, but we still are able to use this with those organizations through different means. I added Article 2 of our bylaws so that you can see that the primary emphasis of the organization is to support all La Crescent Polka activities. So this is not just for one group or organization. It's everything. It's a blanket deal. On page 2 is just really the dumbed down version of yes, charitable gambling is legal in school as long as it's done by an organization like ours. And the reason we're here, the restriction is that a lot of school districts don't allow it. You know, there's some school districts out there that don't. Although I don't know where to put it. There's over 3,400 in here in the state of Minnesota. And everything I highlighted is a school district. And a few of them are churches. So this isn't just something that we've started. This is something that's been going on for quite a while.
So you got 3,400.
There's 3,400 organizations in Minnesota. Not all of them are school districts.
Okay.
A lot of VA,
Yeah.
American Legion type stuff. If you want to look at it,
Yeah.
I highlighted all the ones that are specifically do school districts. Next page is just the basics of what's legal in charitable gambling. The only thing that is legal is raffles, bingo, pull tabs, tip boards, and paddle wheels. Now, I did have a conversation with Terry, and I tend to agree with him that maybe we don't do pull tabs on school property. It's probably not a good look to have pull tabs laying on our sidewalks and whatnot, so maybe we keep that for outside fundraising. But the rest of them, there can be, there's multiple types of raffles. You know, everybody's been to one, seen one happen at a fundraiser. You know, it's basically all the same stuff. Through this license, casino nights, you know, stuff like that is not allowed. It's not lawful. So you don't have to worry about us, you know, having a gambling, you know, New Year party or something like that. The last page is just the premises permit, which I will have to fill out and bring to the school district because I will need their signature after I go to the city. I have to also go to the city to get their approval to get the site permit, and then secondary to the school district. So I came here first because if I don't have your approval, there's no point in going to the city. Really, that's about it.
I have a question,
Nikki.
may I?
Yeah.
Regarding financials and reporting and auditing, how does that all play in, and are you guys going to be monthly reporting when we have our school board meetings? So
If you wish a monthly report to be sent to you, we can make that happen. There is reporting through the state every month by the gambling manager. They will have to file a monthly report, but we can certainly send that over to the school board so you can see what it's actually doing for our school district. I originally thought I would bring in something for you guys to sign, you know, so that there was clear guidelines of what we could do, but I decided I didn't want to put words into your mouth.
sure.
But I wouldn't mind if the school district sent the Booster Club maybe an outline of how you would like charitable gambling to be conducted on school property. Possibly not the laws, we have the laws, but how you would like it to be seen on our school property, just so that we can put that in with our bylaws, so that there is that transparency between the school district and, you know, this gambling license, so, you know, future generations of boosters know.
Yeah, that may take a little bit of time, just because that's more on the management side.
Yeah.
So Wally isn't here, and just on his behalf to advocate for him would be the right thing to do, to wait for his approval and to discuss with admin and how that works. I know historically at events where you do raffles, we've done 50-50s, and probably unbeknownst to know that we needed to have those things in place at the time. So I think those would probably be the only opportunities we'd probably see at events. That would be, other than a big raffle or something, I don't know.
Are you looking to approve a one-time event or looking at something like an annual thing you'd like approved for?
This is a full license, and because we
How long is the license for? I'm sorry.
every license has to be re-upped every year, but this is good
year.
forever.
Oh, okay.
This is the biggest license you can get. And if you see on the first page how many organizations are actually a part of us, this is a school-run thing. This isn't just, I know a lot of other school districts, football, baseball, all of them are separate, but we're rare in the idea that all of them, almost all of them, fall under one booster club. So, you know, if football in, say, Caledonia wants this license, the only organization they can use it for is football, because they have their own independent boosters. And, you know.
But I have some questions, like the umbrella of that. So this would be, you know, approval for a forever license that you guys get. Would you still come to us like each time you plan on holding something?
No.
Or no?
No, this would be, it's all directed, it's all directed through the gambling manager by the state laws.
Okay.
Say football or whatever wants to do a 50-50 raffle at a football game, they would file it through the gambling manager. The gambling manager would make sure that what they have on site is lawful.
Right.
They have the right placards in place and whatnot. And then because Terry is a member of the Booster Club, as as the football coach, that can be done on his field. So,
And Darcy, one of the things that talking with Wally about this is it would be, the same as it's set up now for anything to go would have to be cleared through, we want to do it at a volleyball game or a thing. We would run not only through their manager, but it would run through our office.
Okay. And then my next question is, like, I see you cover a lot of groups, but I'm sure there's one that I can't think of right now that maybe isn't on here. And what if they wanted to do something? Could they come to you?
it's mainly the 4 that are on the bottom group down here.
That aren't.
Baseball, softball, band, wrestling, and robotics.
Yeah, they do not hold a nonprofit account with us, so they are not technically part of our group.
Okay.
There are ways of supporting them since they don't have a booster member on premise, like baseball doesn't. Every organizational leader is a booster member. So Terry, Eric from basketball, they're all members, so they can do all this because they are members of our organization. If baseball wants it done and to use our license, we would actually have to go there and do this for them, and then it goes against the Lancer Booster Club. We'd have to donate it back to them.
Is that something you guys are willing to do?
Yeah,
to work
I
with
think-
those groups? Because like ski, the ski club isn't on here either.
Actually, I must have missed that one.
Oh, okay.
No, actually, they're not a part of our group.
Or yearbook, or what if middle
Any-
school just wants to do one for their, they fundraise.
Yeah, you would just need a gambling manager to fill out proper paperwork. Somebody from the Booster Club would have to be present because they're the only ones eligible. We get the money, and all the money goes into the Lancer Booster Club. Technically, football is Lancer Booster Club. Basketball is Lancer Booster Club. So on the sign you see when you go into a football game, it's going to say, donate to the Lancer Booster Club. All proceeds go to football. Because they are not a separate organization. They are our organization.
On that particular event, not.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get me in trouble here, Karen.
But, yeah,
Oh, that makes sense.
all it takes is literally us to be present in order to make it happen. Some of them, like softball, we have a couple of softball members that are in Booster Club, so they could do it. But like I said, it would go to the Booster Club. We'd have to then turn around and donate it.
So the vote tonight is just to approve your
There's no real
licensure.
vote tonight yet. This is an informational meeting.
Informational.
So this is just for
Okay,
us to
thank
kind of
you.
plan if we have other questions and things like that, because there's no
Perfect.
action being taken. And we don't
Okay.
need action taken yet tonight.
Not
Okay.
tonight.
Okay.
I would like it within,
I was gonna ask what that deadline is.
maybe by May, I would like to have this
Okay.
in place by the fall before some of the bigger sports ramp up. So we still have time to go through all the motions of licensing our group, licensing the gambling manager. They have to do a 2-day seminar out in Roseville. I wondered why in the past that this hasn't been done until I printed off the gambling manual. So this is not a small undertaking. We need time to get it.
It's a very good visual aid you brought with you there. So, Julie has a question.
Terry, do we have do we have a split the pot or something where the money would get put into the school district account, where that's gonna be different now than it would go to the Booster Club account? Or does everything?
It all goes to the Booster Club now, so right
No,
now
but I
it's
mean,
like a lot
right
of
now it
buckets.
does too?
What's that?
Right now it does too, it goes to the Booster Club?
Right now it goes to the Booster Club. So what we have right
So
now
same
with the
process.
different activities has their own buckets in there. So if football or volleyball raise their own money, they have a bucket in that account.
So nobody's putting any in the school district fund?
Oh no, there's a lot. A lot goes into it. All the concessions goes into the whole thing.
The school district funds?
Not the school district.
No, I'm
fund. This is
saying-
all separate.
I know, but right now, since he doesn't have it yet, right now, do any go into the school district fund? No. Okay, so there's no change in process. Perfect.
Nothing changes at all.
I just wanna make sure there's no change in process.
No.
Just a clarifying question. Let's say we wanted to start like a dance team here, and that's not on here, but they asked the Booster Club for some funds to get going with that. Could they come to the Booster Club to get funds for that?
The Booster Club supports anything that has.
So that could be support even though, because it's a new thing, that would still be something to support.
If they wanted to be a direct fundraiser for group from the Booster Club, they come to me or somebody else from the Booster Club. I put them. The only requirement to be a part of our nonprofit is that all your funds have to go through our nonprofit account for tracking purposes and whatnot. So I think Terry and I have talked about flag football before. They're not currently part of us because of their startup and all that, but eventually they will probably transfer all their funds into the nonprofit. All of these groups that are not a part of Boosters, baseball, softball, wrestling, were originally part of Boosters. I don't know what happened along the line. I'm not going to speculate. That was years before my time.
Okay.
But things like band, they might not even know that they are able to join the Booster Club. You know, I don't know if they would want to, but they have their own. The only thing, like I said, that nothing really changes in a group when they join Boosters except for who holds their money. You know, Terry's football team still runs as a football team. He's got his parent representatives. They still fundraise amongst themselves. It's just all their money goes into the nonprofit account. That's the only technical requirement to be part of the group. As far as any smaller groups, you do a dance team, something like that. I know we had a cheer squad at some time in the past. I don't know where that went. But if they just want startup funds, all they got to do is show up to a booster meeting and ask for it.
Okay.
So, Julie, and just to clarify any last minute questions here, because that money never comes into our accounts, we're not liable if something goes wrong. It's not asking us for permission to get the license, just to conduct it on site.
Yep.
That's all. Yeah, I would agree.
I think we're all on the same page. We want, you know, the school district to keep its integrity and, you know, the respect that, you know, we all strive for. So that's why I just wanted us to be on the same line, same page, you know, going forward. I want you to know that, you know, we take it seriously and there will be, you know, things added to the bylaws to make sure that future generations don't misuse it. Like I said, I would love to have, you know, some input from the school district just on general conduct regarding the gambling.
Are we required to be accountable for any auditing?
No.
For financials?
No,
We're not putting anything more on Julie?
You don't have to do anything. This is all done through the Booster Club. Even on, if you decide,
And this is great because I do get a lot of phone calls of, can we do this raffle or can we do that raffle? And no. So
I've had to stop a few because I'm like, that's not legal.
Yeah.
But on the site permit itself, you know, like we talked about pull tabs, I mean, you can literally cross it out or get rid of it and say this is not going to be on our property. You know, this is the school district's property. It's up to you what happens on it. And we want to be as respectful as possible. But, you know, we just want to be able to do as much as possible for the kids. And, you know, right now our fundraising works. It's just not enough.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody knows there's barely any funding from the state, you know. But at least they provide this so that we can actually help ourselves a little bit.
Yeah. Well, thank you for offering to tackle it.
Yeah.
It looks like a big project.
Any other questions? Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you.
I think you're trending towards an approval, all right? How about a student board member report?
Yes. So, starting with clubs, for our Rotary Club, we have successfully sold all our U-Demands, so really excited about that. And we're planning to do Neighbors Day this week. We're planning it this week, not doing it this week. And then for JCO, they're busy planning prom, and we actually voted for prom yesterday. It was super exciting. I think everybody's looking forward to prom. And then for the senior class officers, right now we're planning graduation and having a meeting on Friday, and we're finally starting to get all the details. And then a big thing coming up is juniors are taking the ACT, so they're running around planning for that, but I'm not doing that. But yeah, and then everybody else is setting up their job shadows.
Thank you. Tell us what the theme is.
The theme, it is.
Stairway to Heaven.
It is a night in Greece, so I'm super excited.
Grease the country or the movie?
Country.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Good question.
I just clarifying.
I had the same
Fun.
question.
My
I
mind
wasn't
went
bold enough to
there.
ask.
It did.
Thank you. Any questions? Great update as always. Thank you.
Thank you.
Board member reports. Darcy.
Well, district-wide staff development went over their budget, updated and sent from Julie. They're working on prioritizing and tightening it up.
They did go over they discussed their budget. They did.
That's what I heard.
Oh, you didn't go over the.
Okay, all right. They discussed their budget. Okay.
Just give them more money. Staff voted on the calendars, which we'll be voting on tonight. High school's going to be discussing some flex options, and then oversight did a lot of strategic planning, preparing and working on the progress of that. That was about it.
Okay.
New applications for teacher leader positions and evaluations and surveys and fun stuff.
All right. Thank you. Nikki.
No report.
Paige.
I was with Darcy and the district-wide, there's a lot of people in there. So we're gonna alternate months going now.
Brandon.
I went to the community ed meeting. It was really good. I learned a lot about the things that we're doing to make community ed better, and looking forward to being a part of that and having input to that. So it was very, very nice.
Okay, thank you. Eric.
Well, attended the finance committee meeting tonight. Learned more about UFARs. Can never learn enough. I think we're in good hands with Julie.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. It was just boring number talk. So,
I'd rather be boring.
yeah.
And we still have money.
We do.
Yeah,
Okay, that is good to hear. All right.
Could use more.
Absolutely.
But,
All right, and then I have no update, so we'll move on. How about do we have a Brett?
Oh, come on down.
Ask for applause. Dude.
So I brought a handful of handouts. I'm not sure if there's a way to pull up so you can share with the whole group. Wally, the plans or
Wally's at conference.
Okay. So I can forward that to you. They'll have the plans and then an updated green sheet. Just a second. What's your email?
Andy, I just sent it to her for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just sent it to her.
Page shape will come on down.
It's probably easier than you trying to take it into your phone.
I think we made her though.
Andy, what's your last name?
Towner.
Thank you.
Have a little watch party for March Madness tomorrow.
Okay. So we'll be able to share up on the screen. I have packets of information. I'm not sure if we can all share.
I think
Eric doesn't need it. He can't read anyways.
There you go.
the description is changing all the time.
Share here. Okay. Group here. Jacob, you have it digitally.
As long as you throw that.
And actually, can I steal one? Because actually, I can have it.
Yeah, here you go.
So, we've been meeting as a team, and I think if I'm saying this correctly, just wanted to present here with the final pricing that we currently have. you can see it in your packet. We write a scope of work just so there's a really detailed inclusions and exclusions. Really simply, anything that's in the plans, I can run through that with this bathroom project. But I think the thing to focus on today is right here. So this is our pricing breakdown. We have a really fancy name for it. It's called the green sheet because there's green headings on it for Weiser Brothers. But we started all the way back, I don't even remember the dates, well over a year ago, and we provided these first three options. A masonry option, and then switch to framed walls, again, all with this kind of single use or single stall bathroom concept. And then we went with more of a traditional, like solid plastic partitions. Awesome. So we had three options early on. Group decided we want to go with the masonry walls. Ended up adding some tile. The solid plastic partitions, more your traditional bathroom where you walk into the big room and everything's back there, was kind of mixed. So through all the design iteration, right, we added scope, we looked at it, we dug in further into the details, and maybe if you can scroll to the last page, I'll keep it very high level. I'm happy to go as granular as possible. But we came back to Wally, Pat, and Jacob, and we were at 937, okay, from the original budget of 831, okay. Main reasons for the overages, one of the big items was there's a foundation wall that's below grade. We identified it during the design process. It's a subcontractor that has to come in and cut those things off. We don't have it. It's expensive, so there's $20,000 that we were looking at there. Some of the add alternates that we had initially not in, we had all in the plumbing numbers, so we pulled those things out. But Jacob and the team and Wally and Pat, they all challenged us. We got to find a way to get this project scoped down, okay? So the far right column, we're sitting at 863 right now, okay? Happy to run through that. I think the high level with that is the items that we've made changes on, and I'm not sure. Is everyone familiar with the plans? Should we show those really quick before we get into some of the detailed stuff?
Would the board like to see the plan?
5 minutes. I won't bore you to death on it. Why don't we do that? No, you good?
Okay, we're good.
All right. So ultimately, from that first scope, we came up with an alternate vanity design. So we had priced in there a solid surface, a one full unit kind of modular sink basin, if that makes sense. In this project, so we deleted that, and then now we're doing the wall hung sinks in there. Okay, that was about a $21,000 savings. Again, you've seen all of them. You've all been in any of the single hole restrooms around here. That's a white ADA sink. It's very clean. We're doing it in a lot of commercial projects, so we thought that was relatively easy to pull out of the scope of work. We had one of the items that was requested as we were designing this was floor drains in each of the bathrooms, right? There's 6 individual stalls, now 5 on the far side. I can explain more of that. We had to lose the stall due to an adult changing station need that the state of Minnesota is requiring. But we got rid of all the floor drains in the individual bathrooms. Code only requires 1 in your bathroom. And we thought, in talking with the team here, that would be a good thing to save. So that was $21,000 there. The vanity wall, where the vanities sit, if you don't mind, jump to the plan if you could, and then scroll, I think it's on the next page. Keep rolling, sorry. Keep going. One more. So, when we say the vanity wall, right, this is all wide open in each of the bathrooms, right, so you can view right into it. This wall that was dividing, and all 4 are different shapes, but this wall that was dividing was going to go up to about chest high, and it's open to the hallway. Initially, we were thinking to frame that out of steel studs, drywall, put some tile on the back side of it, and we had a savings of roughly $10,000 to switch that whole assembly to masonry. So again, I'm happy with that. It's less costly and more durable, right? If anything in the school that's terrazzo and masonry is set to be here for 50 years, right? So that was relatively easy to do. We got rid of some accent tile at the drinking fountains. Initially, these drinking fountains are going to stay in the hallway. There's a bank of 2 at each of the restrooms. We thought if we could afford it, we'd dress that back wall up with some tile, so we pulled that out, right? We're gonna keep with the painted piece there. Some alternate tile selections, those are minor things from the low bid tile contractor. He thought there could be $5,000 of savings. Still get the same quality, still get the same look and finish, just from a different line. He thought he knows he can save us that money, so we took that. Instead of doing any terrazzo patching, so we're cutting out into the hallway, which the floors everywhere in the school are terrazzo, I imagine even under here it is. The hallway needs just a little bit of patching here at the doors and maybe potentially along the front. So we're going to get creative with that, a lot like the cafeteria where we laid LVP, the luxury vinyl plank flooring. What we're going to do is we're going to find a way either with the tile from the bathroom floor or the LVP. So instead of doing it's a very costly terrazzo patch. It's small areas. It was running about $100 a square foot. So we're confident we can save that money and either run the tile out into those areas or switch to a luxury vinyl plank. We're going to try our best not to have to do that, but when we cut these to put the new in, there may be some overcuts that go on into the terrazzo. So we'll find a way to clean that up for more cost effective. Pat and his team are going to do final cleaning, so we're not final cleaning. Usually when we wrap up a project, we have a cleaning company come through. So there was savings there. And then we got rid of the PMP bond, performance and payment bond. If it's a referendum project, it's usually required by the funding source. This one, there's no funding source requirement. You guys are familiar, performance and payment bond is just guaranteeing if Weiser Brothers was to go out of business, the bonding company will come in and pay for all the costs to finish your project. So we pulled that out. So if you don't mind, just pop back to the green sheet. So we're here today looking for approval, I guess, to get rolling. Sitting at 863. We're confident we've got everything covered in the project scope of work with a few concessions that we did make. We had this number down to about 837, but the state of Minnesota came back to us and is going to require two adult changing stations. So the bathroom group 3 and 4, which are down by, I believe, the gym. We lost one stall, so we're down to 5 stalls there, and these adult changing stations are about $10,000 a piece. But there's no way around it, a requirement. So, so we had to lengthen that stall. We lost one location there. So you'll have 5 pair, or 5 each down by the gym, and then 6 each down by the school. And we went out, and when we priced this thing, we sent it out, and we shared those results. I don't have them with me today, but there were multiple bidders in each single category. So this thing was competitively priced all the way across the board. You'll recognize some of these names. PNT Electric is the electrician. Winona Controls is plumbing and HVAC. And then Fire Protection Specialist, Landon Jorgensen, he's a grad with us in here. That's his company. And then as you go throughout, Weiser Brothers has a bunch of self-perform work. Decker's Design is doing some of the flooring. And then the Mason is the Multi Masonry. So, Pat, Jacob, anything else that I should bring up, discuss?
Timeline, maybe?
Timeline? Yeah, we're anxious to get these door frames ordered and wood doors. The project we're planning to come in, take one of the restrooms here in the early part of May down by the gymnasium. The reason for that is to get a head start on that. I think we could get it done June, July, and August, but you never know what you're going to uncover, right? And things always seem to go a little bit longer. So we're working that out with Jacob and team here and Pat at the school. Sounds like we can get one of those. So we'll set up nice temporary partitions. They're healthcare grade. You've probably seen them at airports and hospitals. So when you walk by, it's all smooth. So we're going to try to get rolling here right after the 1st of May on just one restroom to get banging and clanging and starting there. Then we'll tackle that. But everything will be wrapped up by the start of the school year. Yep.
The doors are wood, but all the walls are mason.
Yep.
Are we worried, Pat, with one floor drain, with any flooding in the area or overflowing toilets of damage?
No, it shouldn't. If something happens, it should all flow to the center drain.
And the doors are high enough, or?
There'll be a small undercut underneath the door for return air. So the way the HVAC system is working in this is we're not actually putting in any new supplies. So the HVAC system is relatively simple. It's exhaust fans in all of the bathrooms that suck it out. So we're going to have about a 3/4 inch gap down at the bottom of the door. It's gonna be private, just like any of these other doors that you walk into. But to your question, as far as water building up, it would have to fill the whole school 3/4 of an inch before it would hit those doors, I think. Yep. So the idea, with the floor drain is going to be somewhere out here, right? So if any of these toilets happen to flood, it'll flow. These days, when we're putting in with tile, and all tiles are getting bigger, you know what I mean? It's very challenging to pitch your floors and not have a bunch of joints. So, I mean, any project that we're doing these days, we're basically putting one floor drain in, everything's flat, and it's just that worst case scenario where the school's unoccupied for 3 days, something happens, and it's going to prevent any water from really getting out and all of that. So, if you go to a Quick Trip, they have some larger stalls with the floor drain in there, but most of them are outside as well. And then to your question earlier, there is quite a bit of tile. So tile floor here, and then tile full height on these back walls. On these divider walls, it's just going to be the tile base with CMU above. And then there's tile that wraps kind of out and around on the outside of these things to dress those up. Yep.
And Jacob, just because part of the project was to hold accountability for the vaping in the stalls, do we have alarms enough for each stall?
We talked about that during the school safety meeting. Yeah. So we don't know
what the cost will be for those.
What we price of.
I'm still waiting back on another company, but roughly 12 to 15.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that'd be one in each stall.
And the way we were looking at that, Darcy, was P&T was going to just put some rough in for it. The school was going to provide it. So we didn't have all that much. You had said the devices were going to be a little bit more. But right now on that price, we don't have wiring them. I think it was like $3,200. I'm not trying to downplay it.
So in this case, we don't have
wiring them or installing the actual devices. Yep.
And those devices will be Wi-Fi, so there won't be no wiring.
Oh, that's right. You said that, Pat. So we don't even need P&T for that.
Oh, they're just batteries.
Wi-Fi battery operated.
PoE.
Wi-Fi. Wireless battery.
Yeah. It's still power.
Yeah. Battery wireless.
Battery. You could do PoE and
what's PoE?
Yeah.
We'd have to run the
It's
cable
fine.
with.
Yeah.
Julie, I'd love your input on financials. Like if, with this being over budget, like are we in trouble?
Well, what happened with this, we are a little bit over. When we approved this last time, we approved that was the highest amount. After that, though, shortly thereafter, Wally was able to secure a grant for $75,000. So really, with that $75,000, we're still coming in under what we had approved before. Is that semantics? It's just, it is what it is. So we are still under budget with that grant because Wally was able to get that.
Thank you for clarifying that.
And he said that very well. Sorry, I was stumbling at how I was going to say that.
No, that's fine.
But
Well,
what
I
he
said
said
that.
is absolutely correct.
Well, I wasn't happy with it. Yeah. Also, too, because, not to speak for you, but what we agreed upon are already plans that have been approved. So if we start messing around with this would delay the entire thing.
Yep.
Because then we'd have to go back to the city and get new plans. And we already voted. We thought this was the thing. We had a good vote. I think it was split 5-2, but at the same time, the board approved it. And so I think at this point, we're committed to this, and with Wally got, I think it's something we should move forward with. My own opinion.
And we will use the same pots of money that were discussed at the last meeting where it was approved.
Why do we even have to vote on it?
We really don't. It's just something now that I wanted to clarify with you about the other money coming from the grant, and so that there's full disclosure on this as well. It is a little bit higher, but with the grant, we're still under our approval rate we had before.
So the 224 quote for the 937 was still over budget or was still within our
937,
financials with that
we want
grant?
to take the lowest quote we did here at the end.
Nicole, what we did.
Right.
So the 937, the items we pulled out, in my professional opinion, to your point, having a floor drain in each bathroom, right? But the worst case scenario that happens is water leaks and hits the floor drain there. You know what I mean? But we didn't make any concessions on quality, durability, or like the finished product.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
so the items that we pulled out were things that I'm not saying aren't nice to have. I just had my sons and daughters conferences last night at the school, and they had those units are nice for the sinks. They're just $15,000 versus, you know, whatever, $3 for the wall hung sink. So we pulled out those items from the 937 to get down to this 867 that felt appropriate.
Okay.
Can always add those things back in through submittals and stuff if you guys find out that. What I'd really like to do is I'd like to get this thing demoed, dug out, and get the steel set and the underground roughing done, and then I can say, yep, we're through the things that make me a little bit nervous, and we could add the tile back in if we wanted to behind. You know, Pat's having some challenges cleaning off, you know, the water splashes, the paint shows watermarks, and if we can add that back in if there's room or wiggle room, but I would say I'd love you guys if you had a little more contingency just to keep that just until we get the slab poured and get the structure in. Once we're through that, it finishes and it should be relatively straightforward.
And real quick, just that we are, because I know this has come up, we're using capital money, LTFM money, leftover construction bond fund 6 money, and the grant. So it's not coming from unassigned, it's coming from those restricted funds that have to be used a specific way.
Excellent.
Yes. Any other questions?
Thank you.
I think you're good to go, man.
Thank you.
All right, man.
All right, well, so the only thing, we're pretty informal. This is the contract, so whenever Wally signs it.
We'll take care of it. Beautiful. Appreciate your time.
Thank you guys.
All right.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you. Jacob, what are you doing? Let's go. All right, thank you guys. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Yep.
You didn't see me.
We've ever clapped for the bathroom guy, but all right.
You don't have a bathroom.
Yeah. All right, administrative. God, we got all sorts of guest speakers. Like Clover,
Hey,
would you like to talk?
Sure.
All right.
Wally talked to me a couple months ago and just said, asked if I'd come and give some general comparisons to special ed numbers and things from area schools that we have that are similar in size. And so I put together, this is all publicly available information, actually most of it is. I'm going to have it on mine so I can see it. But and if you have other questions or if this isn't the information you want, let me know. I put together up here, this has a state comparison for like total enrollment, percent of students with disabilities, and then in the categories of specific learning disability, autism spectrum disorder, emotional behavioral disability. And then I put together a combined group of, I called it significant impact disability. That's not like a real thing, don't look it up. I just put them together right. I took some of the, ran some numbers around categories that kids are identified in that tend to have higher needs. So deaf, blind, the multiply impaired, and cognitive disability, severe. And so just looking at that.
Teresa, can you make that bigger? Sorry.
So our
Put it in slideshow mode.
to the right.
Top right.
There you go. Oh, thank you. I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess we're clapping for everybody.
I wouldn't know that. Good job, guys.
So numbers wise, we are, higher in that that significant impact disability category there. That is, it just is what we've known for a while, and as we'll get a little bit further down where it talks about some like paras and what that means. As you'll see going through this, Caledonia, just as a comparison, is a smaller district, but has, and I am also there, and I can tell you it's also real, has some pretty significant impact kids there too. But really, the 2.56 is the percentage of our total kids with disabilities that would fall in that category, and it's higher than we'd like to see. But overall, I shouldn't say like to see. That's not what it is. Higher comparatively than we would see for other districts around the area. But our percent total for kids with disabilities right matches the state. Again, it's higher than some of our surrounding similarly sized districts, but nothing here stands out as anything that is, I guess, different from what we would expect to see. And then I looked at like our the next slide, just the special ed professional staff to student ratio. So this is our licensed staff. We're right at where we would think our surrounding districts are. So so we're not overstaffed. And we look at it every year. I mean, the administrative team asks this time right now, actually, they could just ask again, for me just to bring what do our numbers look like, what is our staffing to make sure that we are not overstaffed. And I definitely would say that we are not. This is our students who receive special ed for more than 61% of their day. So these are our kids who are really supported most of their day through special education. This again is where our numbers are higher. And I did the numbers. You can really see the impact too. So the number and then the percentage of our total kids with disabilities. We are higher than others, and appropriately so. I mean, I don't think that we have kids who are receiving a higher level of support than is required. We look at that pretty regularly, and we do a good job of reducing supports.
This is really good data.
That went the other way then. So this is the one that probably has some explanations here. So the students served out of district. So level 4, those are the HVED programs, Salem Spectrum. It's a year-to-year thing. It's actually a partial year-to-partial year thing. This is our goal when we do have kids in Salem Spectrum is to teach them the skills they need and then reintegrate them back. I mean, and I think we've done that several times here. I think we do a nice job of making sure that we've tried all the things that we can try, and it hasn't been successful before we transition kids. And then as soon as we're able to integrate them back, we start that process. So level 5 is private full day programs for kids served with disabilities. And then 7 is private residential placements. And residential placements we typically don't have any say over. Counties or other parents or benefit providers have kids placed in, and we're responsible to pay the educational portion. And at 5 and 7 really are really high costs, and those are things that we don't have control over. So I think that could explain quite a bit of our high costs. And just knowing our kids that we have there, that's currently anticipated to go down quite a bit for next year. So we're anticipating some changes in that. But when I say big numbers, I think we looked at about a teacher and a half a year, which would be what about the same as what we're paying to have our kids out of district. So we really try hard to do that. But I'm sorry, going back here again, you look at to that other one again. I'm sorry, the out of district one. Comparatively, like right now, currently, Plainview, Elgin, Millville doesn't have any kids out of district. That certainly is not always the case. It could be very different, and Chatfield as well. Caledonia, again, having been at being director at one of those programs for 3 years, it just is, it's legitimate. Like, you don't know when that's going to happen. When those kids graduate, they may never have another kid, who requires that placement. So things that we don't have a lot of control over, but do impact the costs. Paraeducators, from the time I walked in this door, I've worked with our staff to look at how we can increase the independence of our kids and decrease paras. And it is a constant discussion, and I will confidently say we don't have kids receiving support from a paraprofessional that isn't necessary. At the IP meetings, our principals, LEA reps, ask the when, why, where, under what condition, what are we doing to reduce that need, where can we combine so I put the numbers, so you look at it, we have 74 students across our district right now who we have identified need some level of paraeducational support. Needing the one-to-one is between the one-to-one and the PCA, that's 18. So the PCA is personal care assistant. So I put personal care assistant and interveners. So intervener is I don't know how to describe it. So the blind intervener for kids who are blind. So not interpreter, it's a different. So those are real specific, identified, individualized needs. So I don't know if this is what you were looking for or if it helps explain why our special ed costs are high. I know when we look at the bills that come from Hiawatha Valley Ed District, that's based on total population, and then the kids at level 4. So it would be completely in alignment with the numbers across our other member districts.
Very helpful. Mm-hmm. So, thank you.
Any other questions while I'm actually here?
You have access to that? This document here, will you be able to bring that to our board members?
To the board, yeah. I'd rather not. I mean, it's all publicly identified information, but what I don't want is an image to focus on the kids who are not served in district. I would rather not have a lot of focus on who is this kid, what is the class. So that would be my only fear of having it. It is publicly available information, but that is my fear.
Okay.
Identifiable.
I agree. I don't think we need to link it.
So we're not linking it, it'll be for the board's knowledge, and this is a public meeting, so it's out there anyway.
Yeah.
So, all right. Is there any questions for Chloe?
Thank you so much for doing that.
All right, thank you, very much appreciated. High school, Jacob.
Absolutely. So we had the Mental Health and Wellness Day shortly after our last meeting. It went very well for the ones who were here, both community and students. The unfortunate piece is we had a very high opt-out rate for our students, including 2/3 of our senior class. So kind of as we did some analysis and got a little bit of feedback, the interesting response from parents and community as well as students is, well, this really isn't a big deal, which kind of flies in the face of what we hear all the time from employers and everyone else. So there's a bit of a disconnect there. So we're going to see how we can address this in an alternate way. But, there's pictures there that you can kind of peruse at your own. But the students who were here had a great time with kind of how things went. But yeah, attendance was much lower and the numbers are in there if you care to look at the numbers as well. The other big thing.
I just have a question about that. I don't mean to interrupt you.
Mm-hmm.
Regarding that day, what are the legal requirements to offer an opt-out option?
Well, it was just parents called in and said, my kid's sick, my kid is, doing this instead. So, I mean, it's just like any other day that parents have the option to call the kid in. Yeah.
The buzz was they were told they could.
Parents were told they could?
Kids were told they could opt out by faculty.
By other kids?
No, by teachers.
Okay.
Just so you're aware.
Okay. So the next event was registration. And registration, again, is an annual thing. We do have to do it kind of in that February timeframe because it takes months to put everything together afterwards. It goes from registration to then, okay, what does that mean for staffing? If you are needing to either hire new staff or let go of current staff, you want to make sure that you're doing that by mid-April. You can hire quality staff, but then also if you are having to let someone go or reduce someone, then they have the option to look for alternate employment as well. So could we wait and do that in June or July? We could, but that wouldn't be very kind to our staff, and we also wouldn't hire any quality staff at that point. So we get kind of the long process that we get to go through, but in there kind of talk about how 15 is kind of that cutoff. So when students are registering, they're essentially voting for what courses are we going to run next year. So we're kind of right in the middle of that process. We do try to take into account all the historical data in terms of, 5% of the students who sign up for this typically take PSEO or online. We use all that to try and figure out our section numbers. But it's a whole lot of time. If you like data, it's a little bit fun. Not completely fun, but a little bit fun. But it does take a while. And again, the goal is to always have our master schedule done by the time the teachers leave for summer, so they know what they're teaching and how many sections of this, and they can start to prepare. And if they have a new course, get the appropriate training to teach that course. So that's all the registration stuff. Looking forward to kind of what's coming up. As Simona mentioned, ACT, that's coming up in April. We also have the MCA testing, which happens in April. And you guys are at least somewhat aware of MCA. One thing that's different at the high school level is that they don't take every test every year, which is kind of a double-edged sword for high school. The nice part is we don't have to test every kid every year. That eats up a whole lot of time. The downside is that we don't have the same level of data that other grades do, because each student for their entire 4 years in high school only takes each of the MCA tests once. So they happen 10th grade and 11th grade. They take science and reading in 10th grade. They take the math test in 11th grade, and that's it for MCAs in the high school. So it's not a super valuable, like you can't track trend data, you can't do any of that stuff because you have one high school data point and that's it. So you can't get a trend from one data point. So it happens, it comes up, we do the best we can to get the best results from that. But again, it's not nearly as useful at the high school level. That's where we tend to look at other data points such as passing rates, grades in classes, FastBridge now for reading, and those items is more of our reliable trend data. That's it for now, unless there's questions.
Any questions? Jacob? Heather?
Thank you.
Middle school.
Every month I get to tell you about our Breakfast of Champions. It was wonderful once again. A couple of weeks ago we had Lancer Way Day. In the past we've done our a community outing to the movie theater, but this year we chose to have a movie afternoon kind of deal, and it went really well. I was a little concerned about the popcorn and allowing that stuff for our custodial staff, but they did a relatively good job with that, I think. And then we also had our first, we tried a formal dance. We did something a little different this year, in this spring or in March. And overall, we split them as well. So we did a 5th and 6th grade, which was really pretty well attended. And we had a 3-on-3 basketball tournament for both 5th and 6th and 7th and 8th. We had more 7th and 8th grade show up to do that. And I would say overall, less dancers, but those of us who chose to dance with the littles, we had a blast. So it was fun for them. Kind of just took feedback from the kids in regards to splitting that evening dance up between the 5, 6, 7, 8 kids. I'd like to recognize Val's one of the PBIS members that was there, but we had Leslie Pellinger, Jordan Hansen, Nicole Blocksfeld, Austri Runnigan, Jason Shippey, Emily Freeman, and Josie Stanlick for their organization and dedication to making it happen. It was kind of a fun night. We got a little takeout before we engaged with the students, and we also had a lot of parent volunteers. We simply sent it out, and I think we had a lot of folks show up and help us out with that. So. Next up, professional development. On March 12th, they had a really personalized day. It started off with Sam Kohler. She is our district EL teacher, and she led a session on the experience of an English learner student, provided staff with strategies and differentiation ideas and support and resources. Jason Shippey, I have to give him a shout out. He is way engaged in AI in the classroom for students as well as for educators. And he had a technology sort of opportunity for them to ask questions about a couple of the new platforms that he's worked into. So that was well attended as well. And then we did some health and wellness with our combined secondary staff as well. And all the while, our letters folks had another live session for their required trainings. Curriculum and registration, we really, as you know, don't have a ton of choice for our kids. We give them an opportunity throughout their grade levels to experience different areas of learning in the specials department. But we do offer an option for music and art. And so Ms. Freeman has been attending advisories to talk about that. We're also in the process of having our 5th grade come here, and Ms. Freeman and myself going to, incoming 5th grade come here, as well as that transition meeting with them at the elementary. So we're looking forward to that as well. Let's see. Okay. Mental Health and Wellness Day, as Jacob said, we were very well attended. Our students showed up, did a great job, and we had my turn. The staff, I got some feedback from staff as well as students, just because we were kind of like, I was a little anxious about this topic because of those same reasons, and more about like, what did the staff, and again, they went back to our circle activities and the authentic conversations that they have with kids about what's good about technology, what's not so great about technology, having real conversations about how it does impact them, to have their self-reflection as a part of that conversation. And then just a wake-up call, and maybe that they do need those parameters set on them so they don't feel that pressure from their peers to be online all the time. And then some of the dangers as well, of course. They didn't get so much into the research as impactful as that might have been for maybe those of us that keep telling them you need to turn it off. Looking ahead, we will be, there was a typo here, but the quarter ends on the 27th, and the final quarter of the year starts on the 30th. So we are still shaking our heads because everything kind of comes to a head where we're living in both worlds, as Jacob suggested. As well. And then our staff, Natalie Elson, nominated Emily Freeman this month for her work this year with our 5th through 8th grade students. And then we're looking at an evening with the Lancers again in May, and I'll get a date out to families shortly. And then mentor-mentee, I like to kind of give you that update. It'll be the day before our next board meeting, but we will be rounding out our last large group. And gosh, we've had a great time this year. I felt like we start with Circle, and then we talk about key topics for their development. But the last one really is about reflecting on their formal observations and explaining that to the mentees, that they'll have a final summative meeting with their principals to talk about what they learned from that experience, their self-reflection, how they grew this year, as well as discuss with their administrator their individual growth plans and how they did. It's really kind of fun for us to hear about that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
It kind of sounds like the high school and middle school might have a challenge with making a competition out of attendance for mental health day. That could be fun.
All right. Elementary. Jeff.
Yes, a lot of community engagement to highlight for you, but first and foremost, the work that's happening to discern which core resource that we're going to be bringing to recommend for purchase next month is happening in our curriculum committee. We have been doing site visits. I went to Spring Grove with a few teachers last week, and to Holman with another, and then just today, 2 additional teachers went to Zambroda Mazeppa to preview and see in action some of the top 2 curriculum resources that we're shopping for right now. So they're seeing it in person. We're visiting with the vendors. It's a sales pitch, but we're asking all the right questions. So that is very much a teacher-led initiative, and I really appreciate all the time they're giving for that, because we want to get it right. Also, let's see. Yeah, so the top 2 are listed for you if you want to learn a little bit more about those core resources. Our goal is to bring a recommendation to you next month, through Wally, of course. Family and community engagement, as I mentioned, Read Across America Week was largely produced by our staff of the week, Kate Thompson, who is here. Kate Thompson, tremendous amount of work went into that week, which kind of culminated on Tuesday, if you will, with Bringing Books to Life, which was very well attended. Just really fun to see that beautiful space that you built for us filled with our community. And it was just a great night for everyone. Huge thank you to the PTO Lions Club. High schoolers were there representing their honor society, Apple Fest, and local service clubs. Time Out Catering with Shelley was there. So business connection there. It was just a great event. I estimated about 400 people were there. Scrolling down, just keeping this in front of you, the Step Into Learning is going to be very new for the fall. We had some excellent discussions at our building leadership meeting just a couple hours ago. Again, designing those days to make sure they meet the needs of our families, and it takes the place of that one kind of scramble back to school night. And so it'll be 2 days of appointments, like teacher conferences, where we'll do school pictures, scanning their fingerprints for the food service, getting to know the PTO, maybe some pre-academic screening, and just taking care of a lot of different things that will make that a meaningful experience for, I think, teachers and families alike. So more details coming on that. The monthly communications are there for you to link, or to click on those links if you choose. And then, yeah, you can see just some great visuals here. The Neon Glow show was at Bringing Books to Life, so huge shout out to Mrs. Bodek. She converted her room. It looked kind of like a rave, elementary appropriate, but it was a huge hit, and it was another kind of place to go hang out, and, because there was so many people there. Each teacher group here, each grade level was represented along with special education. It was a great night of having our staff perform and welcoming our families. It was just a lot of fun, and so yeah. This I put on there again because I did not talk about this last month. In addition to being a PBIS exemplar school, we are also an ambassador school. And what that means is we're one of only 8 schools in the entire state of Minnesota that is certified to go out and present to institutes of higher education, to spread what we're doing well, and to help pre-service educators learn what it is to be a positive behavior interventions and support school, so that teachers then come out knowing how best to educate kids, and so that they come to us as higher qualified candidates. So I've presented to students at UW La Crosse last month, and as a result of that, I can then send an invoice to MDE for a stipend back to use for our end of the year extravaganza. So then that lightens the burden maybe on other budgets, because it's money helping us move that forward. So I wanted you to know that that's a pretty prestigious thing, and we've also got our application in. Thank you to Emily Sebo for doing a fantastic job as our PBIS coach. She filled out the exemplar application. We're hoping to go 4 in a row. I don't know, is there anything else? Yeah, this was cool. This is Weezer Brothers. Andy missed it, but it's on their website too. Shout out to our first grade team, Carly and Daryl Ann and Taylor. They invited in Weezer Brothers during Storybook Character Week, Bringing Books to Life Week, Read Across America, and they specifically read a book about women in construction, and they are presenting that in our library to our students, a local business connection. Just really wanted to highlight that for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You betcha. Any questions?
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Community Ed, posted for your perusing at your own time. All right.
Short and sweet.
Pat.
I think Wally touched base last month on a camera meeting. We had another one last week on placement and what cameras we are going to use. We're putting 2 new cameras at 2 different new locations outside of this building, and we're replacing a couple 20-year-old analog cameras that really are hard to view. As far as the budget, I think we're planning on budgeting each year to add additional to replace some of these older cameras, And that's probably gonna happen over the next 5 years for how many cameras that we have, so, if not longer. Student activity vehicle, I was given the okay to look and get some prices for a 9+1 vehicle, which is 9 passengers plus the driver. That's there for, like, say, Terry, or whatever, like let's just say a Gulf. They want to transport out to Valley High or Pine Creek, or it's just there to have the coach, instead of having a commercial driver's license, being able to transport the kids out there without, you know, a lot of confusion. Kitchen flooring update, there is a timeline. It starts June 8th. The district custodial maintenance staff will begin with moving out some of the equipment. Thankfully, a lot of it's on wheels. Some of it's not. I think we're trying to get some dollies made. I haven't talked to Steve in the shop yet, or the tech ed, but I'm hoping to get some dollies made so we can lift them up and get them on there so we can move them out. And then at the end of the week, the plumbers are going to come in and disconnect so we can get ready for the following week, which will be the 15th, so the demo can start. Facility management software that we purchased 2-3 months ago finally got up and going on our district website. There is a link there. If you click that, it kind of shows you a little preview of how it's done. It's located under the staff resources on the website. You click that button, it brings up a little ticket. And you put your name, your room number, the email, what the request is, and like a request info, like we have a broken table. You can just put that in there. What this does, it actually sits in the system so we can keep following up if we can't get to it. And there's an urgency, I think, level on there too. So this is just something that's gonna help us respond and make sure we get every task and request completed in the custodial maintenance department. So
Awesome.
that's it.
Have we informed all the staff that it's there and how to use it?
Send out a district-wide email.
Perfect. Looks handy.
All right. Any questions for Pat?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Pat.
Coach.
All right, we started our spring sports and then we got a bunch of snow. So it's been a very challenging week with a bunch of kids in the school right after school trying to use all inside stuff. So hopefully, as the weather warms up here at the end of the week, even tomorrow, looks like we might get a lot of snow melting and get back to use some facilities hopefully for next week out there. We do have games starting there, and right now it looks like the first games may be tough to get in. So hopefully the weather starts turning around. We're in the middle of our evaluations have been sent out for all the kids and the parents that participated in the winter sports. Most of them are coming back, so they got a couple of the coach, our coach exit interviews that we'll do, including one of them on here on the consent agenda is our girls basketball coach has stepped down here today. We had a great production of Between the Lines from our theater. Brittany McGuire led them. They did just a great job. If anybody got a chance to see it, it was really cool. And for the last 3 years that I've got to see this, every year is something completely different. They do a really, really good job. Super fun. Our robotics team, Wally and I went up and watched them a couple Fridays ago in Winona. And they did pretty well there. They will be competing in St. Cloud the first weekend of April. I think it's the first weekend of April. Or maybe the second weekend of April. We've had 3 signing days that we continue to do here when kids are going to go play at the next level. So I think that's kind of a cool thing. We do go Facebook Live with it so everybody can kind of follow when they do it. We had a couple baseball players and Brooklyn Mitchell is going to go as a track athlete at Minnesota State. I have on here just kind of as you follow, because it's been kind of something that I've been heavily involved with the Vikings on our flag football thing. Started a pilot league. We were one of 4 teams that have built to 51 last year and 106, I believe, this year. And looks like we're going to have over 40 girls competing in it. So it's something that the girls really, really like, and seems to be going really, really well there. So, I also put in our sports participation numbers. Overall, we are up 9% over last spring, and at the very bottom, it kind of has those numbers. Most of our sports were up over last year, or close to it. And track and baseball led the way up with over 10 more than last year each. But it was nice to see our 7th graders, with 52 of them are competing in a spring sport. So that was really, that's the biggest number we've had of any grade in the last 3 years. So that's pretty awesome to see. That's really all I got.
Any questions for Terry?
Okay, are you still accepting late signups?
Yep.
For spring?
Oh, yeah.
Asking for a friend?
For a friend.
Yeah, whatever. All right. Education, Minnesota, man. What you got?
Never turn.
Never.
Yes, so lots of great things this month. As always, a lot of great things going on that our teachers do for our students. But we're starting with middle school and the Landsmart that is in the middle school office.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. There it is. Perfect. Okay, so first we got Landsmart. With PBIS, we've been in contact with Five Below, and they have been gracious and have donated different rewards that students can get with Lancer Shields. And if you scroll, Teresa, you can see all of the lovely students and all of the great prizes that they can earn with Lancer Shields. Squishies are a big hit. Next up, this is 8th grade pictures that Travis Lurkey took. He's been helping out with the position in the 8th grade hallway for our science teacher that passed away. And then we have also 6th grade. He likes to do hands-on activities, working with atomic structures and orbital shells. Kids are learning lots of great things. I get to be in this classroom, and they love being in this class. So always good stuff in his room. Next up with 8th grade, they, in spirit of the Olympics, they got to learn some traditional European games, and they got to receive medals. So this is them showcasing what their medals that they earned, and some more medals. And then I liked scrolling through these pictures, and this is highlighted later on in the elementary slides that the teachers put in. But 8th grade students got to go to the elementary school and be with their kindergarten friends, spend time with them at recess. And then there's several more photos of them with creating Valentine's boxes and just being friends with little kids. Next up, again, Mr. Lurkey. He always comes to me and says, if I put too many pictures in the slideshow, just tell me to take them down. And I'm like, I'm sure people in the public and community would just enjoy seeing it because he does a great job. The kids love being part of the conservation crew. A lot of snowshoeing, as you could imagine, with all the snow we've gotten. So there's several photos if you scroll going down in the ditch, and a nice little video if you would like to. That's okay. You can keep going. And they also got to remove some invasive species, honeysuckles on the school property, as well as work on survival skills of starting a fire, as you will see next. All fun stuff. And next on to high school, we have different simulations with psychology. They got to make a sock baby, so they got to go through those different milestones and kind of put things into perspective. Next up, we have an aging simulation, so they got to go through like loss of hearing, eyesight complications, what it's like to get old. Sucks. Roaring 20s is up next, and after that we have, I think what was next after that? World War I Alliance simulation. So a lot of great activities going on in high school. Dancer Innovations class, got to make new bookshelves for Amanda Nicolati's classroom. They're gorgeous. And now on to elementary. So Discovery Pre-K, just have a lot of high school leadership and fun all throughout February and March. What's that?
Kelly in the booth.
For kindergarten again, highlighting, like I said, the 8th grade buddies and the Valentine's Day boxes. In first grade, highlighted dental month with presentation, celebration of the 100th day of school, Valentine's Day, and the hockey teacher life. They also got to do some work with the Olympics and measurement and non-standard units, and again, celebrating the 100th day of school. And this was just added, but I thought this was awesome. Miss Taylor had 4 students who were able to get free haircuts in a sensory-friendly environment. Very cool. Second grade, highlighting again more activities with sports days, Valentine's Day, and 100th day of school. And for third grade, the Kids Heart Challenge and Dental Month were highlighted, as well as just kids being kids. And in fourth grade, highlighting Miss Thompson again, with her students reading a total of 43,998 minutes. So snaps for Miss Thompson. Thank you, Heather. And xylophones and music class, all the good stuff. And again, showcase with Miss Boddick's neon show. The cool rave that Jeff was talking about.
That's amazing.
And then the students of the month at the elementary, along with the staff of the month. Next was Steph Michaels, very deserving. And then I believe the last two, yes, are PTO updates for the public, as well as I believe the last slide is from the office with some key dates. That is all that I have for all of you.
Thank you.
Love it. Never too many pictures, Lurky.
They did well for pictures this month.
What's that?
You had lots of pictures.
Lots of
They skipped last time.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Jordan. We'll not blame it on Jordan. That was my doing.
Now for something not as fun, the budget update. Go ahead.
Because I'm boring.
Just the budget, not you.
I don't think that Beth said this at the last meeting, because I believe it happened after the,
We don't have that tonight.
no, the last meeting.
Oh.
But I believe it happened after, about the BBK seats.
Yeah, it did happen after that.
Yes, so that's great news. The state, Beth applies every year. She does a great job. Well, Beth and y'all do a very great job applying every year. And this year they had extra seats, and we received some BPK seats. So I just wanted to do a shout out because Beth's not here. And we'll receive funds that are additional funds for general fund. It'll also help fund 4.
Just super fast for the audience, can you explain what
Yeah.
BPK seats are?
Do you want me to, or do you have a good way to say
Reader's
it?
Digest version.
Is she allowed? She might be able to say it better than me. Is that
She's
right?
talked at more meetings than some
You
people.
go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
Yes. You are my voice for this because you probably say it better than I am. So it is voluntary pre-K is what it is.
Yeah, voluntary pre-K, and how many years have they had it in the state? 8, 10, quite a while. And it's based on, kind of like title, it's based on the amount of green reduced lunch that you have implemented in your schools. So voluntary pre-K is fully funded for 4-year-olds.
Correct.
And so we have applied every year that we could, and don't have a very high incidence of green reduced lunch compared to other districts that might be able to do for.
Sure.
And so have never qualified for it. But somehow this year we had applied, and she applies in the spring every year. And then they came back to us here, I can look at the date of the email that said, supply. We had extra to reallocate.
And it's a big deal because
Yeah, it
it's
is.
hard to get the seats and it's a big deal, so.
So
I just wanted to shout that out.
That's a big deal. Cause it's,
She's taking more webinars. I know she's got one next week that she has to, and my understanding, Julie, is it'll be money because we already run a pre-kindergarten. There are students who attend our preschool who qualify for free and reduced lunch. But then there are a bunch of stipulations, of course, because they're offering us money, that they can't have their IEP paid for their tuition, which some of our students attend that way. They can't be funded necessarily through Head Start, which kind of 12 of our students this year are funded that way. There are a number of students that will be able to receive reimbursement for.
Yeah, great. Thank you for helping me.
Thank you.
Great
So
job.
what will
Thank you.
happen was instead of the cost coming out of Fund 4, which is a restricted account, it now can be moved into the general fund, Fund 1, through specific program codes, UVARs, so that we expend that money and receive the money in the same way, and it's gonna be dollars that we haven't received before, so it's great news. Two things I wanted to say on PATS, just because we have talked about how we're spending our money, and we're very cognizant of that every time we spend dollars. The vehicle he's talking about, we did talk to our insurance company to make sure that there is no other way to transport students when we are low on vehicles, and there is not another way. We cannot take personal vehicles, we cannot do anything like that, so this is a need, and we will be using assigned funds for those. It will not be coming out of unassigned funds. The kitchen flooring, Fund 2 opened up ways we could spend, Fund 2 being a restricted fund. We did have to get the okay from the state, because not only is there flooring, but there's extra costs to the flooring. We did get all of that approved through the state. All of it will come from Fund 2 restricted funds, none of it hitting general fund assigned. So I just wanted to point that out, because I want to make sure that when we're talking about spending dollars, that we know that they're coming from these restricted funds and not unassigned funds. The next thing is, right now we're sitting at, for a balance sheet, about 3.25% for unassigned. That is low. Our budget is about 5.51%. All of our directors and administrators are doing a great job, along with Dana, at making sure that we are staying within our budgets. They go yellow and in our system, and Dana is, what we've set in place this year is Dana let me know every single time something goes yellow, and we either have to adjust it, or we have to figure out where we're gonna get the money from that's in budget, or we have to say no. And so all of them, the directors, the administration, the superintendent, everybody, whoever is a part of these budget processes, they're doing a great job. So we're at 3.25%, but I still feel that we're going to come in around that 5.51%. For the month of February, we should be at about 66% of revenue intake and expenditures going out. We are at about 51%, so that is great, because 66% is where you would be at this time of year, and we're at 51%. And then, which is a little higher than the past 2 years, but that's okay, because we've tightened up our budget this year, so it should be a little bit higher. Our revenues are at about 55%, which matches almost exactly last year. So we're sitting really good with our revenues and expenditures in the month of February. And one other thing, along with not only looking at the yellow budgets, is that Superintendent Genevico has been meeting with the directors and the administration and myself. I'm not at all of them, but the ones that I need to be present at, about the different subjects of the budget, whether it's curriculum, whether it's school safety, whether it's capital, or staffing for all staff. We're taking a subject at a time and either doing it 1 week or maybe 2 weeks, and really breaking it down to make sure that we are right-sizing in every area, that we are spending restricted dollars the way we should, and trying every day to get our fund balance up. And so I just wanted to shout out to all of them. Anything else I missed that we kind of talked about at the finance meeting?
Okay. All right. Questions? Okay. If we can pull up enrollment, I know people like looking at that. I think we're holding fairly steady. Posted for your down 1. Okay. And then the last one would be student behavior. Principals, do you have any insight? Take that as a no? Okay. Questions for the board? Okay, moving on from student behavior. Moving on to the consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Move to approve by Nikki.
Second.
Seconded by Brandon. Is there any discussion on the consent agenda?
Can we look at donations, please?
Yes, absolutely. Might need that a wee bit bigger. All right. We have Bruce and Danielle Heine, $50 for the Lancer Locker. You have Kathleen Linker. Okay. $170 for Lancer Locker, and then the Pizza Ranch, who money donation for the ski rental and lift tickets.
Nice.
So
I was not given a specific dollar amount, I was just given money donation, so that's what I put on there.
okay, all right.
Thank you to our donors.
Thank you to our donors, very much so. Is there any other comments or questions regarding the consent agenda? Okay.
Dave Kubicek.
Yes, Dave Kubicek.
That's a big retirement.
It is. He stayed his whole career in our district, didn't he?
Many years. Do we have a year on Mr. Kubicek?
Is it in there? It's in his letter.
I can find it in a second.
He did his student teaching when I was going to school.
Really?
So like 3 years ago.
Anyway, thank you to Dave for all his
That's
continued years of
That's
service.
amazing. Yeah.
All right. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes for the consent agenda.
Started in 1994.
He started in 1994. Where were you in 94, Darcy?
I don't want to say it.
Okay, thank you, Darcy. All right. Approval of this 27-28 school calendar.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussions on the 27-28 school calendar? That is wonderful news. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Move to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Motion to approve the school calendar passes. One last comment. Jeff, thank you for all your years of service. Band, athletic director, I think you helped educate my children on musical type things.
I sure did.
I appreciate all your years of service here. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Okay.
How many, Jeff?
Now, who had to throw that out there? Who approved them?
I already put the motion on the table.
Motion
It's already there.
to, and seconded. All in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Adjourn.
I think he does too, I'm like, I'm ready for it, and then it's like, boom.